Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, you call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and of course, On Fire Athletes, the platform powered by GameCoin. Check it out, onfireathletes.com. Goody. You got gingerbread man on your jammies? Blue. Come here. Okay. Okay, everybody. Good morning. Saints game day. Final game in the Dome for 2024. Blue. Final home game for the Saints in 2024, hosting the Raiders. This is one that, in theory, you'd think the Saints should get. I know most everybody's cheering against them, thinking draft position, etc. Reality, though, I think the Saints are pretty much locked in. I'd have to check all of the probabilities as it could happen. But as of now, the Saints are slotted into the 10th pick. The Bears, Panthers, Jets all at 4 and 11. The Saints at 5 and 10. And as I understand it, I think the Saints would lose or win, however you want to look at it, the tiebreaker. So they'd be lower than those teams. So you'd have to have the Saints finish 5 and 12 and have those teams win to get to 6, win twice to get to 6, which I don't think that's going to happen. So you're kind of locked into where you are. But in any event, excuse me, if you're cheering, I guess, for draft, point is, if you're cheering for draft position, it doesn't really matter. So sorry, I just got that. Hang on one second. I'm very sorry. I need to reply to this text. I'm very sorry. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I had to reply to that. So Saints play the Raiders today. I'd love to see Spencer Rattler go play well and the Saints get a win. Clyde's going to play today. Well, let me say this. Clyde has been signed to the active roster. He's been elevated to the active roster. We'll see if he's a game day scratch or if he'll be dressed today. I'm hoping he's dressed. No Alvin Kamara means you could have Kendra Miller, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which would be awesome to see Clyde out there playing in the black and gold. That would be such a cool thing to see today. Of course, Clyde won a state championship on that field, won a national championship on that field. Now gets to play for the Saints on that field. Would be so cool. So, what? You got gingerbread man on your jammies?
Blue.
Is it gingerbread man?
Blue.
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 Wait. Okay, good job. Okay. All right. Yeah, it would be so cool, man, for Clyde to see that today. So Saints Raiders, and then obviously we've got LSU in the Texas Bowl on Tuesday. Y'all were 48 hours away. Tigers practice on Saturday in Houston. Harlem Berry and DJ Pickett are there practicing. They can't play in the game, but they're practicing, which is great, going through this whole bowl experience. Let's see, Major Burns will not play in the bowl game. We learned that on Saturday. So you're down another defensive starter. How they shift the secondary will be interesting there. Do you play with a star position? Toviano, Brian Kelly told us Toviano's moved to safety. So do you move Toviano back to star for the bowl game? My guess is Gilbert, Spears are your starting safeties. Do you play Toviano at star, or do you go with a 4-3 look and you just don't have a star, that star position on the field? You could have Whit Weeks. Remember, Greg Penn, West Weeks can play in this game. Remember, while they held him out at the end of the season to be able to maintain his redshirt year, you can play in the bowl game and not have it count against your eligibility. So you have Whit, West, Penn, Devon Keys. You got those 4 options at linebacker. Maybe your better option is a true 4-3 instead of your 4-2-5 with the star position. So in any event, all right, y'all, smash the like button if you would. Please subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Awful weather yesterday. I know there's a lot of people impacted. If you had any issues with your roof, give us a shout. I know our crews are already running around town today, tarping and helping people out, doing inspections. So we'll never get on a roof when it's raining, when it's wet. But once the storm passes and it's safe, our crews will get up there. So if you have an issue, you can give us a shout. Parish Construction Roofing, parishbuilt.com. Just fill out the form on the homepage, parishbuilt.com. Actually, I know Linda is in the office this morning. If you want to give us a shout at 364-1007, 364-1007. Everything's scrolling on the bottom. Hey, Trivia, good morning. Brennan Huff, Bill, Jacob, good morning. Jared, did you see Arkansas player step on Texas Tech, injured him on purpose? I did see that. I just saw the clip on Facebook. I was watching that game. I didn't see that happen live, but I did have that game on. But granted, I was like cooking dinner and all this. But anyway. But yeah, I did see that. And I know there's all kinds of nefarious things that happen under piles. It's just so weird now when you have cameras everywhere. Like, how do you think you're going to get away with something? Jason, good morning. Jaleel, if the Saints lose, they won't move up in the draft standings. Correct. So that's kind of my point, is like, it doesn't do you any good to cheer against the Saints. Like, it's not going to help you in the draft. Like, the Giants are at 2 wins. Patriots, Jaguars, Titans, Browns, Raiders all at 3. And then Bears, Panthers, Jets at 4. And then the Saints are at 5 and 10. And then the Niners are at 6 and 9. So, yeah, I mean, you'd have to lose your next 2 to go 5 and 12. And one of those 4-win teams, Chicago, Carolina, Jets, would have to win their next 2 to get to 6. Chicago has I'm sorry. And Chicago already played. Chicago played Seattle on Thursday Night Football. So you can't pass, because they play at Green Bay and they'll lose that one. So you can't pass Chicago. You play the Raiders you beat, so you split with Carolina. Carolina has at Tampa, at Atlanta. So do we think Carolina's, I mean, it'd be great if they won both of those, but I don't think that's likely. And then the Jets, remember, you're pulling for them to win their next 2. They play at Buffalo and then home against Miami. So I think you're stuck at 10. I think that's the best you're going to be. So you might as well cheer for your team to win. You might as well cheer for Clyde today. You might as well cheer for Rattler to go play well. It's not going to help you at all in the draft if you lose. So, go cheer. Go put on your black and gold. Put on your Man of God headband. Put on the Man of God headband. Let's hoot at. Let's go cheer for the Saints today. You know what I mean? Let's not stop cheering for them to lose. Let's just go enjoy a day. It's not going to matter for the draft. Enjoy a day. Watch your team go win a game. Last game in the Dome for the year. Morning, Matt. Why does A&M want to be a military school so badly? Very weird. I don't know. I mean, from the military perspective, I will say that there are tons of Texas A&M alums that have joined the U.S. military and have served the country. So I'm not going to knock them for that. I mean, it's no different than like the Citadel. I mean, the Citadel has no affiliation with the U.S. military. So there are places like that. Club, good morning. What's good, man? Hey, Deborah. Caught alive for once. Going good, man. Thanks for being there, Zach. Appreciate it, man. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Toki Doki. Let's go. Heard the Raiders plane had issues. They didn't fly out till midnight or later. Whew. Travel's tough either way, man. Terrio's told me that for years. It's like it's the most underrated part that people never talk about when it comes to like professional sports is the travel. And now, especially with like baseball and with basketball, when baseball, if you play, 162 and you're flying, 60 times, whatever it is. You might play 3-game series, whatever. I mean, it's a ton of travel. Same with the NBA guys. When you have travel, play back to back, the elevation, inflammation, all that stuff. I mean, travel is a big deal that not a lot of people talk. That's why I always look at, like, for the NFL, the cross country travel. When you got to go West Coast to East Coast, time change, like it matters. Matters a lot. Nelbert's Nuggets. I got my Raiders shirt, headed to the dome. All right, Nelbert, enjoy, man. Guy Brooks, good morning. And my father's rocking a Yankees hat. All right, so you go a Yankee hat and a Raiders shirt going to the dome. Okay. Hey, I'll enjoy. Hey, Jeremy, good morning. Zach, God, Coffee, Matt Moscona. The way I start my days, go Tigers. I love it. And in that order, God, Coffee, and then Matt Moscona. Yes. Get your priorities in order. Hey, Ryan, hope everyone's safe from the bad storms. Yeah, man, bad storms yesterday. Thankfully, we never lost power. I know north of Baton Rouge, sort of northwest part of the state, seemed like they might have got it harder. But if you were in an impacted area and you had any issues, we'd love to help you out. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. Good morning. How about Miami losing to the Cyclones? The game was crazy. Yeah, we went to dinner last night, Eric and I, kind of an impromptu adult night out. So mom and dad night. I got a babysitter. Eric and I went to dinner. Went to Rufino's. Awesome as always. Shout out to Shelly and Howard and the whole gang over there. They're always great. So went with some friends of ours, another couple, and had a great night. So I wasn't really locked in to the fall. I was watching the Bengals. And actually, I don't know if y'all were watching that, but the Bengals and the Broncos went to overtime, and Cade York had a 33-yard field goal attempt in overtime to win it. He doinked it. Oh, but if he could, he's got all the talent, the leg talent in the world. If he could ever find the consistency, but a 33-yarder to win it, he doinked it. Thankfully, the Bengals got a stop, and then Burrow put together the game-winning touchdown drive, and the Bengals won it. So, but man, feel bad for Cade York. What an opportunity that was, and he doinked it in overtime. Hey, Kelly Groves, good morning. Austin, good morning. LSU number one in the combined recruiting and transfer rankings. I'll take that over number one high school recruiting class any day. Yes, I mean, it's, to be fair, the rankings are subjective, but yes, I mean, it's undeniable. Like you're getting third party validation, right, for what they're doing in the portal, and it's pretty awesome. Top 10 high school class, number one portal class, number one combined class. You've addressed the tons of needs, and they ain't done yet. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Big 19 is here. We got you, man. Hey, Mark, good. Isaiah Foskey is ready. You keep holding out hope, Mark. Bill, I see that. God. Yup. Is Kendra Miller starting running back in the NFL? I don't think we've seen enough of a sample size to prove that, Mark. But I will also say that we have seen let's see. I'd say we have seen players leave New Orleans and thrive. I mean, none more evident than Zach Bond. Who is Zach Bond leading the NFL in tackles this year? That's one of the more disappointing evaluations here in recent memory. Zach Bond was a guy who some projected Zach Bond's fourth in the NFL in tackles. And he actually made because Budda Baker played yesterday. So he, with 11 tackles today or 12 tackles today, Zach Bond would take the lead for tackles in the NFL this season. 144 tackles. He's fourth right now. Or, he's tied for third right now with Roquan Smith. Guy couldn't get on the field in New Orleans. He's one of the top tacklers in the NFL this year with Philly. I mean, what a total miss on the evaluation of how to use that guy. Unbelievable. Hey, Rocky. Burrow's legend grew last night. What a game. Crazy game. Yeah, man. Love Clyde. Excited to see Clyde today. Clyde's rowing that Saints. I guess he'll be wearing 22. Let me see. Where's Clyde going to be wearing for the Saints? Forgive me that I don't know that. I have just been on vacation and have not locked in to see practice photos or anything like that. But Clyde's wearing 23. Okay, Clyde's wearing 23 with the Saints. So, I mean, Kendre Miller's wearing 25. And someone on defense wearing 22? Oh, Shaheed. Shaheed's 22. I haven't seen him in months. Anyway, so Clyde's wearing 23. Love the Drew comments. Thank y'all for that so much. Good is sweet. Good is sweet. Hey, Brad, good morning. Gingerbread Man jammies. Yesterday was the Grinch. Today's the Gingerbread Man. Hey, Jay, good morning. Dale, which LSU coach wins the next natty? I don't know, Dale. It's hard to go against either Jay Johnson or Kim Mulkey because they've done it and their programs are built for it right now. I would love for it to be I mean, look, you could throw in Jay Clark as well. I mean, the defending champs, and you get Haley Bryan back and Aaliyah Finnegan back, and you're bringing in this number one class. I mean, they may be deeper and more talented this year than they were last year. So gymnastics could do it again. I like it. Like they should be in the mix for it. You know what I mean? Like they should be they're capable of scoring high enough to win the national championship, and they'll just gotta have your best meet on that day. But yeah, I mean, gosh, I might say gymnastics. Like it would not be surprising at all if they repeat this year. David, do NIL deals include participation in bowl games? No, David, there cannot be stipulations for playing time with NIL. That's a key component as far as the legality. Because remember, NIL can't be pay for play, so there cannot be stipulations about playing in a bowl game. So no. Will Nuss start a quarterback for the bowl game? Yes. Club. Zachary, it's hard not to think this LSU defense doesn't have a ton of speed next year. Can't wait to see it. It's hard not to think this LSU defense doesn't have double negative. So you're saying you think they'll have a lot of speed next year? I'm just thinking, like, of course, you want it. Look, Perkins on the edge, obviously. Seeing Pickett turn and run, I think will be fun. With Devon Keys on the interior of that defense at linebacker. Patrick Payton coming off the edge. Jamari Butler's a guy we just haven't talked as much about. I think he's been the kid from the 6-year guy from Nebraska. I think he's just probably been a little overshadowed. We've talked so much about Peyton and about Jack Pyburn. But yeah, man, they needed to get better on defense, and they got legit better on defense. Now, they needed weapons for Nussmeier. They went and got legit weapons for Nussmeier. Now they needed to protect Nussmeier. They've gotten 2 offensive linemen. They might have a third coming. So, Michael Cook, good morning. Linda Johnson, Green Bay game proved without McCoy, Kamara, Carr, Taysom, Shaheed. Saints are a 0. They're injured because 5 men are carrying 48 men. Linda, it is also worth noting Green Bay is a good team. Like, Green Bay is a playoff team, and they're a legitimate contender, and that was on the road. The Raiders are actually worse than the Saints. I mean, they're a 3-win football team right now. And yes, I would also submit to you that if you take away any team starting quarterback, running back, top 2 receivers, center, left guard, they're probably not versatile weapon like Tatum. They're probably not going to be very good. I mean, that's true on any team. Like, if you go to the Bengals and take Joe Burrow Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, who'd be a versatile weapon for them. Just those three, your starting center and your left guard. Take those 5 away. How are the Bengals? Put it in perspective. Let's see. Rocky, hope everyone fared well after the weather yesterday. Yes, sir. Damon. Zach, are you going to blue? Maybe it's just like a silhouette of Drew with his backpack blower. Damon, let's see. William, good morning. Survive 623, good morning. Devin, start a cold plunge, feel great. Making better health choices this year. There you go, man. I'm curious how you're chilling your water, David. Are you using ice? What are you doing? Because I'll tell you what I did to start before I went and spent the money for a chiller, one of those box chillers, which was like $400 or whatever it was. I was doing cold showers, and so for me that was like, because cold shower is free, right? You just get in the cold shower, you turn it on, stay in there for about 3 minutes, suck it up, just get in there. And if you commit to doing it, then invest in like a chiller, one of the plunge tubs or something like that. Or the pods, you know what I mean? You get those pods for $100. But yeah, man, keep going, dude. I'm telling you, keep going. It's a mental hurdle to get into the cold water, but I'm telling you, man, you just get in it, man. You just get over the mental hurdle. You just get in, and it just sets your day forward with everything, man. It's incredible to do. Like, it's funny. There's been times where I've gone to give blood or gone to the doctor, and I plunge in the morning at it's like 6 a.m. Either it's 5:30 or 6:30 whenever I'm plunged, depending on what time I get up. And I'll go 9:30, and they go, they got to take your temperature, and they can't get a reading because my core body temperature is still so low, because it takes that long for your body, just 6 minutes in 50-degree water. It takes you hours for your body to normalize its temperature again, which is why you burn so many calories. Your body is working so hard to survive. Like, it's burning everything it needs to live. So it's amazing, man. Highly recommend to anybody. Next Saints coaching hire is going to suck because of who's making the hire. Yeah, Mickey Loomis. Ross had that report over at LouisianaSports.net. Loomis, one of the reports from, I think, a couple of the national guys, Loomis planning to hire someone he knows. Shocker. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Tiger Diver, H-Town, love that hoodie. You have any in T-Bob size? I'm T-Bob size. Yeah, man. I mean, these hoodies we give to our crews. So, when our crews are out working, we obviously want them in parish gear when they're on a job site. So when it's cold, we put them in these. But I think we have like a box of them. So I'm not getting in the business of shipping gear all over the country. But if you're in Baton Rouge and you want to snag one, sure, we have extras in the we have a whole apparel closet, right, with hats and shirts and like all of our gear and everything. So if you'd wear it, I'd be down to sling one. But you got to rep it. Sucks to be a Giants fan. Not bad, man. Matt, will Perkins be the green dot on defense? That's a good question. I would guess no. I would think your green dot is going to be someone up the middle. So probably your middle linebacker or your safety. So I would think next year probably Whit Weeks would be your green. Oh, you're talking about for the bowl game. Or no, you're probably talking about for next year. Perkins not playing in the bowl game. I would think Whit. If Witt's playing Mike linebacker, Whit would be your green dot, I would think. Raiders didn't leave Las Vegas until late last night. It's a quick turnaround, man. Gary, Merrick, are you doing whiskey and wine? Yes, T-Bob and I are doing whiskey and wine for the bowl game. So please come hang out with us. We'll be there for the game. They're at Don Juan, and then obviously post game, last opportunity. So we will be, if you can't join us at Don Juan, be sure to join us on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube or Facebook as soon as the game goes final. Thank you, Toki Doki. Appreciate that. Everybody likes this hoodie, man. It's very bright and colorful. We got spammers again. Brad, hard to believe yesterday was 5 years since Carly passed. Yeah, man. Yeah, I posted about it on Twitter. I mean, 5 years. That's hard to believe. It's just hard to believe. I will tell y'all, and I don't think she would mind me saying, but Miss Karen, who and you know, one of the blessings, and you look like they're not always easy to spot, but one of the blessings of Carly's, I hate to say it this way, it's going to sound weird to say it, that a blessing of Carly's death, but I have gotten closer to her family. I didn't know Carly's family really when we were working together. I mean, she was my friend and coworker. And I mean, I'd met her family. You know, Mike Detillier and I read in Carly and Steven's wedding. And I'd met her family, but I can't say that we knew each other. But you know, Carly's mom, Karen, and I, we have like our coffee dates. Like I think a week ago, she and I went and had coffee. So we'll go sit at CC's and have a cup of coffee. She drinks a tea, but hey bud, did you sneeze?
No.
Did you sneeze? Hey, come, let me look at your backpack. Let me see if your backpack's done. Let me see if this backpack's done. Get this all twisted. Yep, we are done. Okay, let's take off your backpack.
Really? That's really?
What, baby?
Really?
Well, we're gonna do Dad's show,
What?
and later, what are we gonna do later? After Saints, what are we gonna do?
Mall.
Go to the mall.
Why do I have?
Yep. Good job. You want to come say hi to Dad's show?
No.
No. All right. Oh, so I was saying, Miss Karen and I, like, we go have coffee. It's always on my phone is coffee with Karen. And we visit, and it's, you know, I love those visits. And I probably don't know this. I don't know why you would, but Miss Karen has written a book about Carly's life. And it's set to publish very soon. I mean, like within the next few weeks. So I'll very much be looking forward to telling you more about that. I can't wait to read it. Miss Karen's an amazing writer. She actually wrote a book. I was looking for it on my shelf. She wrote a book called The Lessons of the Lilies, and I know I have it. Where did I put it? It might be in my office. Oh. I knew I had it. So she wrote this book called The Lessons of the Lilies. I love it. She says Memoirs of a Proud Nobody. Anyway, It's a book that she wrote years ago about she and Tracy, her husband, their struggle with infertility, and how their very long journey to have a family. Anyway, all that to say, she's an amazing writer, and she'll tell you, like, she doesn't have a writing background, and I read a lot, and like, she really is great, and I believe her writing is inspired. And she'll tell me there's times where, like, she'll write and it's just like her hand is moving and she's not even sure what's guiding him. But of course it's inspired. I mean, it is, I believe it's divine what's making her, moving her to write those words. So I cannot wait to read her book about Carly. So that'll be published soon, and very excited to read it and to share it with all of you. All right. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Philip, good morning. See Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson both became head coaches. I did. I feel it'd be cool to see more of that, especially major college programs. I coach prime. Well, there's no doubt that Deion has been a trendsetter. Like, his success has opened the door for other former players to get head coaching jobs immediately. Now, similar to Deion at Jackson State, his success at Jackson State is why he got the Colorado job. So can Mike Vick have success at Norfolk State? Eddie George at Tennessee Tech? Anyway, if they have success there, then they'll be able to sort of graduate to a higher level. But yeah, I mean, I think as far as bringing awareness and notoriety to those programs, maybe a relatability in an NIL era, I think all that matters tremendously. So yeah, I got nothing against it. I mean, it's worked. I mean, sports are a copycat league. You look at what works, you try to replicate it. So why would that be any different? Dilfer, Trent Dilfer got the job at UAB. Now, he's done a terrible job, and I'm surprised he didn't get fired this year. But yeah, I mean, you're seeing that. Rocky feels like Aaron Glenn's the next coach. I don't love that. I just don't love continuing to try to run it back. That's what I don't love. But Aaron Glenn may end up being a great coach. We'll see if he's the guy. Seth, do you think Clyde's on the team next year? I don't know, Seth. I hope so. I think that would be awesome. Clyde will be a free agent, and so he'll have the opportunity to go sign anywhere. And with Kamara back, I don't know that this would be, and Kendra Miller, I don't know that this would be the best situation for him. But even if it's for a couple of games, I still think it's really cool. Hey, Bubba, good morning. Let's see. LSU's the old war school started by General Sherman. Love it. Yeah. I think that's dated back to like the connectivity of military school. Someone's mentioned about A&M. Shane O'Mac, Saints can only win if the other team is sleepwalking. 08, LOL. Burrow is unreal. Ask E-Rock today. We'll see, Brett. If she wakes up, she's sleeping. But if she gets up, 10 o'clock, she gets up, she may be down for it. Brennan, Burrow wouldn't let that game go on York's foot again, was going for the TD of the win. Razor, morning, Matt. BK said he thought we'd get around 15 transfers. Is that due to NIL funds or what he knew he was getting? If someone big hits, can we still go after him? Absolutely, you can still go after him. I think they knew you're just playing the numbers game, right? Like as you know who's graduating, who's leaving out of the portal, who's going early to the draft, who you have coming in the high school class. Like you knew numbers wise where you needed to be. And so it was going to be right around that 15 range. But again, they're at 14 now. And I've told you there's 2 silent commits, an offensive tackle and a safety. So I believe you're 100% getting the safety. We'll find out who that is when we do. And then that puts you at 15. And then if you get that tackle, and supposedly there's a bidding war now, so we'll see how that goes. That might put you to 16. So 15 or 16, I think, is where they finish. USMC Who Dat? You got it. Thank you. Who's the real Death Valley, August 30th? Oh, that's a Clyde jersey number. LSU's major success next year. Do they have the bank to be this aggressive in the portal every year? So, Lou, that's a great question, and that's something that there's a multi-part answer to that. Okay, so let's say you win. Are your backers motivated enough to keep spending? Maybe. We'll see. If you lose, are they willing to spend to run it back if it didn't work? Look at Ole Miss this year. That's a good question there. The other part of it too is revenue share. How much does revenue share minimize the need and necessity for NIL? And how does NIL fit in with revenue share? That's the real question. And we just don't know the answer to that yet. Read rule over under 50K in the dome today. I'll go over because I think the Raiders fans, I mean, the Raiders are a national brand and there's Raiders fans everywhere and people like to go watch their team play. And New Orleans is a place that, especially when you don't play often, people want to go. They want to go out in New Orleans. So, yeah, I think you'll get over 50 in the dome today. Hey, Christopher, good morning. Thomas, protect the crown. Joseph, good morning. Nursing a rough hangover. 10-year high school reunion. Man, 10 years. You're not even 30 yet, dog. You can't be letting the hangover hurt you like that. Not at 28. Come on, man. Get you some coffee and a cold plunge. We've all been there, man. Ryan, for the LSU fans that thought it was doomsday after a disappointing season, look at OU. Lost the Navy, lost their DC, back-to-back losing seasons. Well, it's not back-to-back losing seasons. They won 10 a year ago. So they went 6-7 in Venables' first year, won 10 last year with Dylan Gabriel, shipped Dylan Gabriel off to Oregon, decided to start Jackson Arnold. He's now at Auburn, right? Yeah. So he's at Auburn. They lose to Navy, finish 6-7. So that's 2 sub-500 seasons in 3 years under Brent Venables. By the way, before Brent Venables, the last losing season at Oklahoma was 1998. Let's see. What natty is bigger? Baseball, football, gym, or basketball? Football. It's not even... There's nothing even remotely close to the magnitude of a football national championship. Reed, for terrible for York last night. No chance he'd still be employed if they lost last night. That's why he's bounced around, man. He's got all the leg talent. He's not been able to find consistency in the NFL. It's why he's bounced around so much. Lance, if today was opening day for LSU baseball, who's your starting 9? Ooh. I would love to be able to answer that and not have to guess. Let's see. Priester catching, Jones at first, Dickinson at second, Milam at short, Braswell at third. Maybe flip those, but I'll go Milam short, Braswell third. Brown in center. Larson in right, Pearson in left. Opening day. I am not confident. Like, I will tell you, I do not think that's how it finishes, because I think clearly, like, nobody at the start of last season was talking at all about Stephen Milam. And very quickly, he asserted himself as someone you had to have in the lineup, and he became an everyday player for you. Larson, midway through the season, just every at-bat he got kept earning more opportunities and became a super key guy for you. So I do not think that's how it would finish. I don't even know that's how they're going to start. I'm just taking the best guess based on what I know and trying to piece it around, what they'll look like on opening day. You know, Derek Curiel may end up winning a starting job in the outfield. Cade Arambidi could end up being your starting catcher. I don't know. Crazy how the coaches can't choose the right players or put them in the right positions to be successful. Guessing Bond was on DA. Also, see a lot of DTs we let go that are starters. Well, the thing about Bond is Bond was a 3-4 outside linebacker rushing the passer at Wisconsin. And the Saints play a 4-3 defense. And he's not a defensive end, and he's not an off-ball linebacker. So you drafted a guy that was a projected first-round talent by some, had his issues, at the combine, fell in the draft, and you got him in round 3, which felt like a steal, but you never found a way to use him. Which is so disappointing because look at what he's doing, what he was clearly capable of. Jesse Loomis hiring somebody who knows scares me. Seth, Matt was completely right about not freaking out over unproven high school guys going somewhere else, waiting to see what happens to the portal. Seth, I was right. Yes, I was. And I'm going to enjoy on the 4th going back and playing the Talk to Me in a Month clip. What does the draft look like for the Saints? They need everything, man. I mean, tell me a position where the Saints are set. That's a better way to look at it. Tell me a position where you're like, okay, we're set there. Offensive line, not even close. Receiver, you like Olave and Shaheed. I still don't think you have a true number 1. And Olave's future is certainly questionable. You can't say you're set at running back. Aging Kamara, Miller unproven. Tight end, you're certainly not set there. Defensive tackle, Brzee is at a nice season, but aside from Brzee, you're one of the worst in the NFL at creating pressure, despite paying Granderson. Cam Jordan obviously is at the end of his career. Chase Young's a free agent after this year. DeMario Davis is still a great player, but he's 34, almost 35 years old. Pete Werner has had what feels like a very quiet season. You traded Lattimore. How much confidence do you have in Kool-Aid and Alontae Taylor out wide? Paulson Adebo is a free agent. Do you re-sign him coming off an injury? Safety, Tyron's very near the end of his career. And who do you have next to him? All that to say, like, there's a quarterback, of course. There's no spot on the field where I go, all right, you're good there. Like, none. I mean, you could, when people say, oh, take the best available, sometimes it feels like that's just a cliche. Yeah, best available. The Saints, seriously, whoever is the highest player on your board at any position, take them because you need everything. Men's basketball team, I hope, does well. Yeah, they play Mississippi Valley today. It was literally the worst team in Division I basketball. So LSU's a 38-point favorite today. They should win easily. And then, next weekend on the 4th, you play Vanderbilt to open up conference play. Kobe Walker, good morning. NOLA TX, Bengals have all those guys this year, and they're fighting for their playoff lives. It's hard to win in the NFL. They lost so many close games. Does it annoy you when people talk in slang, or is it just grammar errors? Doesn't annoy me. H-Town Creole, what number is Pickett wearing? 3. If it's the number, I think he's really thin. He's wearing number 3. So, I mean, thin. He's also 6'3". So he is long, or maybe 6'4". Like, he is long. And I don't really care about thin. You need to be long. You need to be able to flip your hips and run. He can do all those things. Nick, is Chris Olave playing today? No, Olave is out, and Rattler is starting. So, but remember, on the day before a game, they have standard elevation. So, who's going to be on the active roster for game day? And Olave, it was officially out for this game. So, Olave is not playing, and Rattler is starting. Rob, is just cold water out of the tap good enough to do anything to just start? So, if you're talking about cold plunge, so Rob, when you if you fill up your tub with just cold water, that's going to be about 78 degrees for context. So, you really need to be in somewhere in the 50 degree. So in the 50s, like there's no science proving colder than 50 does any added benefit, and minimum 3 minutes, maximum 6 minutes. But just to get yourself acclimated to doing it, I would recommend doing a cold shower to start, because with a cold shower, you never settle in a cold shower, to put it because the water's hitting you in a lot of different spots. So you don't just, your body isn't just enveloped. You get this thermal blanket when you're plunging, and then you could just relax into it. In a cold shower, you never really get to that point. So I would say start with a cold shower. If you can make it through a month of cold showers and you're still rolling, then I would say start to look at how you would invest in a plunge. But yes, start that's right. Start with a cold shower. Thoughts on Cam Ward deciding to opt out at halftime? I mean, Malik Neighbors did the same thing last year. He got the LSU receiving record and then took off the pads. Whatever. Bowls are glorified exhibitions. I'm not worried about anything with a bowl game. Bill, why left guard? What do you mean left guard? Left guard with the Saints? I mean, Lucas Patrick's out. So Charles Coleman, is Tiger BB a tournament team? Maybe, but the issue, Charles, is the SEC is so deep. Getting to 500 in this league is going to be really hard. 12 of LSU's league games are against ranked teams. 12. I mean, you're going to have to go beat ranked teams to get to 500 in conference play. It's just going to be really challenging. Ryan, the fact that Mickey Loomis was trying to compare by records, Bill Walsh, Belichick, and Dennis Allen, give me a break. Yeah, he was looking at Chuck Noll, and he's just completely. He's just on an island, man. B Creole, good morning. Thomas, be whiskey, wine, and spirit. We'll look forward to seeing you in spirit there, Thomas. Brennan, how hard was it doing the show the day Carly passed? I remember hearing the news, couldn't believe it. Yeah, man. So that was obviously the day of the Peach Bowl. And we were doing the pregame show in Atlanta. And we did find out before the news broke. And and so we knew while we were doing that show. And the news didn't break until the very last segment of the show. It was me and T-Bob doing the pregame. And we were streaming video of that pregame show. And if you actually go back and watch it with understanding the context, you'd know. It was very difficult to gather coherent thoughts or try to make put on a show that day. Just nothing else really mattered. I remember being in the press box that day at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and in that press box, there's they have these. So it's assigned seating in the press box, and so they have these large, screens where you can go look for your seat assignment. These vertical screens, and Carly was credentialed. Like she was going to cover, like she was flying, but she was going to cover the game for WDSU. And so, I mean, looking at her name on that screen was surreal. I could still remember that vividly. Spent a lot of that day in the press box, not watching the game. Remember sitting in the little concession area with Jordy and Rachel Barbeau for a long time. Yeah. It was a terrible day. Terrible day. Make defense great again. What if I were to tell you that morning scone for us is akin to your morning cold plunges? It kicks off the day for us. I love it. Kyrie, what's up, man? Zach Taylor stinks. How about not only the clock management? How about Zach Taylor twice early in the game passing on scoring opportunities to go forward on fourth down and twice getting stopped? Again, take the points. The name of the game is scoring points. Change the scoreboard. Take points. Keep changing the dynamic. Put the pressure on the defense, on your opponent. How big is DJ Pickett? Official height and weight. He is. I have not seen him in person. And they say he is a legitimate 6'4", which that is a massive corner at legitimate 6'4". LSU won the Rodeo Bowl. There we go. Man, I think I'm way behind on comments. I'm like 20 minutes behind. Mark, do you know if the NIL deals are being paid to a player's LLC? I don't know that. I mean, each is probably different, but I would assume most it's going to their checking account. Bill was asking her last name on the book, McCord, McCord. So it's Carly McCord's mom, Karen McCord. Lessons of the Lilies. It's an amazing book. It's about for those just joining, Carly's mom, Karen, has written a book about Carly, and it's about to be published, like literally within the next couple of weeks. But this was her first book called The Lessons of the Lilies, which you can find, and it's about it's about their struggle with infertility and what they went through to have a family. But it was interesting too, because I read the book and I told Miss Karen, I was like, the book's not about infertility. And she said, what do you mean? It's like, it's about your relationship with the Lord. And you'll understand when you read it, but I don't think that wasn't her intention. That was everybody's interpretation of any piece of art can be different. But Home Depot. The Home Depot. I heard the checkout. The beep beep. He's got the gingerbread man jammies, and his butt says "sweet cheeks." You get it, like butt cheeks. Anyway, all right. Bill, Coach Prime got butt kicked by Mormons. I love it. BYU play great. Why do you love it? I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand the Coach Prime hate. Like he got his star players to play in a bowl game. He makes sure his players go to class. There was a video the other day where he told players, if anybody is caught smoking on the bowl trip, you are done. Like, all of the discipline things that people say that they want from their coach, like he does, yet because he was a flashy player in the 90s, people don't like him. I don't get it. He's won. He's instilled discipline in that program. He's respectful of other coaches and players and teams. And I mean, the moment that Dion and Kalani Sitake had after the bowl game yesterday was awesome. I don't understand it. I do not understand the Dion hate. I don't get it. Like, it must just stem from people who didn't like Dion as a player. That's the only thing I can think of. Question about Brian Kelly. Does it seem like he puts little no emphasis on how important special teams are at times as far as making legit special teams coordinator hire? I mean, it's a fair question, Ryan. But when you have a limited staff, you have to decide how you're going to divvy up roles. And I'll tell you the thing that's helped. I'm not dodging your question, because I do think not retaining Greg McMahon was a giant mistake. And he paid for it the first 2 years. But because analysts can now coach on the field, it allows because let's see. Who should be on the graphic? Question mark. Image? Question mark. I'm sorry. So because all that's saying, because analysts can coach on the field now, Bob Diaco is the guy who's running all the special teams drills. So you kind of have a guy that handles all of that. And remember, there's no limit on headsets on game day either anymore. Really, the only distinguishing factor, aside from pay, is that your 10 on-field assistants can go recruit off campus. That's really the difference. So you kind of have a guy there in Bob Diaco. So who's kind of running your special teams. So, I think you were obviously better in the return game this year. You whiffed. I mean, Jay Bramblett was a really good punter for you for a couple of seasons, and you whiffed this year with Peyton Todd and Oxendorf. So you went out and got another punter out of the portal, the kid from Middle Tennessee. So you hope he's better. So I'm getting this ready to publish from Ross Jackson on the inactives for the Saints today. Kickoff about 90 minutes away for Saints. Dale headed to Houston today. All right, man. Enjoy the game. Bring home a dub. Adam, good morning, Matt. Have you heard anything else on the tight ends coach? Have not. Or head coach for the Saints? Have not. Devin, good morning. Patrick, BK is the portal king this year, keeping the receipts. Final out of conference game for basketball. Yes, sir. H-Town Creole, Oklahoma is probably the worst job in the SEC. Stay with high poverty, population less than Houston. Go back to the Big 12 to Oklahoma. I'll disagree on Oklahoma being the worst job. They've got history and they've got resources and a strong fan base and a desire to win. Unlike a place like Mississippi State, for example, where you don't have resources, or Vanderbilt, where they don't invest resources. South Carolina, it's tough because you've got talent in the state of South Carolina, but you have to try to pull talent from Clemson. You have to battle Clemson for that top talent. So there are real challenges. But Oklahoma can recruit the state of Texas and Louisiana and those areas. But I don't think it's the worst job in the SEC. Gulf South, Jay Johnson doesn't know the starting nine at this point. How can anyone else? Just ask me to take a guess. So that's a guess. Too bad for you. I like that coach. Bob Poole. Bill, when does LSU baseball start? We are 48 days away from the start of baseball season. Pete Werner's not NFL. Oh, I disagree with that completely. Pete Werner's a good linebacker. He's not an all-pro, but he's a good linebacker. He's definitely an NFL linebacker. Saints said a kicker and punter, no. I don't know, man. I just think those have been the least of your concerns this year, that we haven't focused much on it. But I think every year you're looking at improving everywhere on your roster. Let's see. I think Will Campbell will be able with the Saints there at 8. I don't think the Saints are going to pick 8. I think they're going to pick 10. And I do think Will Campbell will likely be available there. And I'd be for it. I mean, they need help everywhere. Whoever they have as the highest graded player on their board when they pick is who they should take. Seth, Matt, can you get up and gritty for us? No, I cannot. Chris, I was thinking the same thing about the Saints group of misfit toys. Pierce, I think Groupie is solid B-. Not solid. I'm not rushing to replace him. Gulf South, you're right about LSU being active in the portal, spending unlike last year, but we won't know if it was the right choice to let Phillips and high school players walk till the season starts. We may not know if that's the right choice for 3 years. We may look back in hindsight and say, you should have spent on Phillips. He became a 2-time All-American and blah, blah, blah. Maybe not. But if you were looking at building a roster for 2025 to compete to get to the playoff and win, I think objectively you'd rather have this portal class than overpay for the 3 freshmen that walked. Because Bryce Underwood wasn't going to start this year over Nussmeier. I have serious doubts about what Jakeem Stewart will be as a freshman reclassified at defensive tackle. You know what I mean? Think of it this way. Dom McKinley was the number 1 player in Louisiana, 5-star defensive tackle. And McKinley didn't really factor. Now, he did have an injury early, but McKinley didn't really even factor in for LSU until the middle of the season. It was kind of a rotational guy. So, what's realistic to expect from what's realistic to expect from, sorry, I'm posting the inactives. From Stewart right away. Anyway. Saints need to draft best lineman available. I agree on both sides of the line. I think best player. We got an English teacher in here.
Go this way.
Hi.
Go this way.
You want to come say hi?
Go this way.
Go this way. All right. Let's say hi to Dad's show. What do we say?
Hi.
Hi. Hey, what day is today? Sunday. And who plays on Sunday? Saints. And what do we say when the Saints are playing?
Who dat?
Who dat? You gosh darn right, who dat? Hey, do you know who plays football on Tuesday? You probably don't know that.
I wish you talk. Oh, one again.
You want to get down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Your diaper's falling off. Hey, oh my goodness. Got a droopy diaper. I'll have fun cleaning that up later. Hey, Abner Neal, good morning. Oh, you know what I haven't done yet? Thomas, if you're still watching, let me not forget. Here we go. Let's not forget. Let's get it done to make sure we keep the streak alive.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish Built. Parish Built. Parish Built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parish. All of our great sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube and tagged on Facebook. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Unique Physique, remember, heading to the new year, if your New Year's resolution can be lose weight, semaglutide, tirzepatide, the once-a-week injections for weight loss, the weight loss shots for everybody to talk about. You want to learn more? Uniquephysique.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Do the whole thing over telemed, and they'll ship your medicine anywhere in the country. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge, Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. All right. Ryan says, see, Cam Ward may just be a bowl game, still another opportunity. Football player, finished the season. Yeah, when you have that much to lose, see, it's easy for you to say, Ryan. If Cam Ward's going to be a projected first-round pick and has tens of millions of dollars on the line, it's easy to say, oh, you should go play. But it's all about balancing risk in life, risk, reward, payoff. Is it worth it? Is it worth playing the second half of that game? Is it worth the risk of what you'd lose financially, potentially, if you were injured? I can't answer that. You can't answer that. So I'm not going to judge that man for doing that. Do what's best for you. Go this way. Naming Gerard Mayo a head coach when Mayo is clearly far from ready is the biggest mistake of Kraft's career. Maybe. I also think the Patriots roster stinks. Go this way. Go this way. And that may be the case. But I also think the Patriots roster stinks. And they got a long way to go to be competitive again. Let's see, Golf South. When NIL started, everybody was saying LSU was ahead of the game, ready for it, but donations were dry. Now with RevShare, LSU's ready again, but are they really? I was thinking about this yesterday, interestingly enough. So and I don't mind going through this, but when NIL, so you hear me say often context matters. So you have to remember in context, when NIL went live in July 1st of 2021, there were a lot of people still pushing back against NIL. It was not something that was universally, like players or coaches and administrators weren't saying, yay, NIL. And you might say, well, they're still not, but it's more because of what's happened. But the truth is, if you weren't on board with NIL, it was going to be hard to recruit. So LSU publicly took a stance of, we're open season, open doors, come do deals with our student athletes. Remember, they took Olivia Dunn up to New York and did a photo shoot in Times Square with the NILSU billboard in Times Square. essentially saying we're open for business. We support it. Come do deals with our student athletes. What LSU didn't do was have an organized NIL fundraising effort. The first collective, the Go Collective, was not well organized and not well funded. There were about 20 people that funded the entire thing, and it was not a lot. And LSU fell way behind because other collectives were very organized and were aggressively fundraising. But LSU is effectively saying, like true NIL, like come do deals with our student athletes. When what you needed to be doing was going to your donors and saying, we need to fund a collective. And LSU did not do that. So I think they've gotten to the point now. There's two things that have happened primarily that have allowed LSU to get to this point. Number one is go this way is TAF. When TAF took over fundraising for Bayou Traditions, go this way. Go this way. When TAF took over fundraising and allowed people to get priority points for donating to the collective, that because TAF has a deep roster of all of LSU athletics donors, that dramatically increased fundraising, number one. And number two was losing. Not only going 8-4 on the field, but also then what happened with Bryce Underwood lit a spark. People are like, man, bleep this. Like, how are we letting this happen? And that has created more and more momentum. Now, what's a real question is that sustainable? And I don't know. And then also, how is NIL fundraising affected by revenue share? And I don't know the answer to that either. We'll see in time. Bill, you said left guard was important in the list of players. I was wondering why you chose left guard. Oh, no, I was saying Lucas Patrick's hurt. So, like, for the Saints, like, Eric McCoy, center's hurt. Lucas Patrick at left guard is hurt and out today. So that's my point. Like, you've got your tackles and your right guard playing today. You don't have your center and your left guard starting today. Hey, Don, imagine being offered $1 million per season to cover Alabama football in Tuscaloosa. Considering your strong ties to LSU media, we take the job. For $1 million per season? Yeah, I'd be gone in a millisecond. Are you kidding me? Go this way. How long's my deal?
Go this way.
Go this way. Oh, man.
Go this way.
Go this way. I didn't even realize this fell. When I got this book off my shelf, I didn't even realize it, but this fell out. Just had this in the book. This is the card they gave. They gave at Carly's funeral. And then the Andy Grammer line. The Home Depot. It must have fallen out of the book when I took it off the shelf. Anyway, would I take $1 million to cover Alabama? Yes, of course I would. Like, it's still a job, right? I'm very fortunate to do what I do, and I make a good living doing what I do, so I work very hard. But it is still a job. And I don't think, like, you can't do this job well unless if you can be objective. Find a way to find a degree of objectivity. And so you see a lot of people who cover teams and talk about teams and like that didn't grow up fans of that team. That's okay. Sometimes being a fan of that team makes it harder to do your job because it's harder to be objective. And then you're just a fan disguised as media. Like, I grew up an LSU fan. I love LSU. That's my alma mater. I want LSU to win in everything all the time. I say that. I'm very transparent about that. I also work very hard to be objective. If I think LSU stinks at something, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're going to lose, I'm going to tell you. If I think they made a bad hire, I'm going to tell you. Like, I think that's why I've done well. But yeah, I'd go cover Alabama for $1 million a year. The old geezer tour. I'm with you, Matt, about Coach Prime being from Jackson, Mississippi. Saw the change we did for Jackson State. It was incredible. It was incredible. He transformed that university and the SWAC. Wendell, Bill, I don't hate Coach Prime. Want to see BYU win. Surprised they won so big. Milton, good morning, Matt. Unfortunately, Raiders win today. Boy, did the Saints look like they were in slow-mo last week. They must have been doing their Pels imitation. The other thing, too, I'll say this again, Milton, and we talked about it at the beginning of the show today. I think look, Green Bay is a playoff team. They're a very good team. And the Saints were without their starting quarterback, their top two receivers, two starting offensive linemen, Taysom Hill. Like, you were out there with a preseason roster playing an NFL playoff team on the road, Green Bay, primetime, Lambeau, Monday Night Football. Like, that was not going to go well. The Raiders stink, too. Don't forget that. Let's see. Matt, I don't think necessarily on hate, more of Coach Prime fatigue. People had them in the playoff for the season. I mean, bro, they went 9-3. Like, they were a game away from getting in the Big 12 championship game. It wasn't that far-fetched. And by the way, like, their projected win total this season was 6. So I don't know who had them in the playoff. Mike, is vast majority of what guys hate? What? Yeah, I don't. Oh, you're saying a white guys. I don't know that that's it. And I'm not being naive to that, because certainly there's a component of that. But to say it's a vast majority of white guys is just, that's not true and unfair. Like, ask yourself this. Lane Kiffin, same thing. People love to hate Lane Kiffin. Why? He's a white guy. Come on. Like if you're just seeing it as white guys don't like Black Dion, that's just as short-sighted and naive as someone who wouldn't like him because he's black. I'm not naive in saying there isn't that component, but if your belief is it's a vast majority of white guys that don't like a boisterous black man, that's naive on your part as well. Here I am, a white guy, telling you that I love Dion. I think he's done a great job. Chance, did you see Burrow do the gritty? I did. Wasn't bad. I guess he practiced 5 years to permit. That was his first gritty, yeah. And he's had great teachers too. He's had Jets. He's had Jamar. Who better to learn from? Coach Baker looked like a real cowboy with the lasso toss. I didn't see, and thank you very much. I didn't see the lasso toss. But I'll have to check it out. I love Dion as a player, media, coach kids, coaching college. So they made the Louis luggage comment. Bringing my luggage with me, and it's Louis. Why? He did. He brought his quarterback, who is going to be a first-round pick, and he brought Travis Hunter, who won the Heisman. He was right. What's wrong with saying that? What if he had said, we are very happy with our roster, and I feel with some of the transfers we're going to bring in, they're very talented players and will help us be competitive and win football games. That'd have been better. Guys trying to get attention, man. Colorado stunk, and he immediately made them relevant. Jake, son graduated from LSU this weekend. Started in COVID. Glad that's over. Thank you for keeping it real all this time. Thank you, Jake, and congrats to your son, man. Congrats to you as well. College graduate. That's awesome. Hey, Mike, good morning. Where can I order Parish jersey and have it shipped? Parish jersey? We don't have jerseys. Talking about like a hoodie like this. I mean, we don't have them for sale. We buy them and they're in our closet, where we keep all of our supplies and everything. I hesitate to say I'll ship you one because if I do that, Mike, thank you. Then I'll end up with 100 people saying, "Can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one?" And I can't get in the business of shipping hoodies all over the country. But if you make it to Baton Rouge and you're serious and you want to swing by, I'll snag you one if you make it to Baton Rouge. But let me know. But as far as a jersey, I don't know. We'll get a Paris jersey. If the Louis luggage comment was his way of saying I'm bringing players at one way. All right, Brennan taking the kids to women's basketball this afternoon. Okay. Drew, the star of the show. Let's see, think a lot of Deion. I don't want to keep getting bogged down in the Deion stuff. I think everybody's made their points. I'm going to skip through. True Love, Drew, and Erica, they add color to the show. Thank you, man. Drew did get a haircut this week. At what point in the offseason will we do whiskey talk? We do whiskey talk whenever you want, man. Fire away. You got a whiskey question? Morning Scone is wide open. You can ask anything about anything. How many current NFL coaches would you not want to be the next coach of the Saints? I think any of them are worse than DA was. Well, so just to clear the deck, to understand, like, you're not hiring a sitting head coach. Like, you don't leave a head coaching job for another head coaching job. We've seen trades, like when Gruden got traded, right, to from Oakland to Tampa, but you're not going to hire a sitting head coach. So who do I think is worse than DA? I mean, Antonio Pierce is at a really rough year with the Raiders. I mean, that's staring you right in the face this week. I think, Brian Dable and the Giants, I mean, after making the playoffs a couple of years ago, they have really face planted. I'm going in my brain by division to try to answer your question. It's hard to tell with some of the young guys and the first-time head coaches because there just isn't enough sample size. But in that respect, you'd almost rather go with that person because it's kind of my same thought with quarterback. Like, what the ceiling is with Derek Carr. And so I'd rather go with a young quarterback who might have a higher ceiling. Maybe not, but at least I know there's a limit on what Derek Carr can accomplish. I would say the same thing with some of the coaches as well. I mean, I'm going through every division in my brain thinking of what coach that if I would take that. I mean, Dennis Allen's one of the losingest coaches with that sample size in the history of the NFL. I mean, he was historically bad. So I'd take almost anybody over Dennis Allen. Doesn't mean I think that's the best option, but over Dennis Allen, that's a low bar. Yeah, no, I agree with you on talking about Cam Ward opting out. I didn't care. I didn't care. Malik opted out, got his record and sat. That's cool. Drew needs an NIL deal. So I'll tell you this. And shout out, man. 2 kids, son's autistic, Joy, his little sister is protector. Love that. That's awesome, man. Shout out to Sweet Spot. If you're not familiar, Sweet Spot is a sports athletic equipment company, and their equipment is safe for like kids to use, but it performs. So like there's, for example, baseball, but like, and you could hit it and it'll fly like a baseball, but if you get hit with the ball, it's not going to hurt the kid. Same with football, and they have all different sports stuff. And it's a local company. Might know Joe Lawrence, Joe and Stan Levy, friends of mine, are partnered on Sweet Spot, and they actually did like a mini NIL deal with Drew. They gave him a ton of Sweet Spot gear. They took photos of him for some Sweet Spot photo shoots. So he kind of does have a little bit of a, I guess, like an NIL deal sort of thing with Sweet Spots. Yo, check out Sweet Spot. It's just like it sounds. I'll post the link in here. It's so cool. It's really cool stuff. Like for the beach, for the backyard, for campground. I mean, here you go. I'll post the link in there. Check out Sweet Spot. It's playsweetspot.com. It's a really cool company. I mean, it's a great concept. Anyway, go check it out. Playsweetspot.com. All right, y'all. What time is it? 11 o'clock. Appreciate y'all for being here. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being there. Jets coach was worse. He got fired. Hey, Rex, good morning. Brett. I know a thing or two about whiskey, but to each their own, Let's see, Mike. Wife gave me a budget of $200 to fill out our new bar cart. I like whiskey and tequila. What would you start with? What's your thoughts on Bartesian? I don't know Bartesian. So if you're going to if you want whiskey and tequila and you have $200, so listen, the great thing about, I can't speak super fluently on tequila. I mean, I know a tequila that I like to drink, but do we want it before kickoff? Question mark. There are so many whiskeys that you can get affordably. Like, for example, here's what I would recommend you do. Sazerac Rye, which is great to drink neat, rocks, and it's a great mixer as well. You can get Sazerac Rye at Rouse's for $25. Get a Sazerac Rye. Get an Elijah Craig small batch. That should run you $30. So you have a rye, you have a full-bodied whiskey. I would get Basil Hayden, which is going to be, again, I'm going for things that are inexpensive, that are agreeable, that you could find anywhere. Basil Hayden, which will run you in the $35 range, lower proof, little easier to drink. See, that would put you at, let's see. Right, that would put you right little under $100 right there. Then I would get a bottle of Four Roses single barrel. That's going to run you about $50. And then I would get a bottle of, I tell you, go get Noel tequila. That's local. Shout out to Natalie Noel. They've done a great job with that product. And their Blanco tequila is really good to sip rocks. You want a little squeeze of lime in there. You want to make a tequila with it or a margarita with it. You can. That's what I would recommend you do. And that should put you, that's going to be about $50, the Noel tequila. So that should, let's see, 50. So it gets you the Sazerac Rye, the Elijah Craig small batch, Four Roses single barrel, Noel Blanco tequila. Those four And you'd probably still have $50 left. If you wanted to grab another tequila, maybe like a lot of people like Casamigos. Maybe grab a bottle of Casamigos. That'd be 3 whiskeys, all very different, and then 2 tequilas. That gets you 5 bottles, $200. Very doable. All right, y'all. Caleb Shaburo being the MVP race. Should he be? Sure. Is it realistic? No, because we always know that it's going to be teams that are winning. Dennis Allen is a low bar. It's true. Sweet Spot does have pickleball stuff. Jake, on being objective, you said you thought we didn't have the pitching to win the CWS again and again. And that made me a fan of yours. And that reality made the series sweeter and incredible pool time. Oh, you mean when they won the College World Series? Yeah, well, hold on. I'm going to go back. If you're talking about the year they won the College World Series, I didn't say that they did going into it. I didn't say they had the pitching. I said I didn't think they had the pitching to come out of the losers bracket. And they did something that they had not done all year. You had Nate Ackenhausen and Griffin Herring give you outings in the College World Series that they had not done all year. You had to get an otherworldly performance from 2 guys on back-to-back days, and you got them. And it was awesome. So that's amazing. You know, but when they lost the first game to Wake, I mean, yeah. I mean, you had to have Nate Ackenhausen, who was and look, we know what how his career went on, but if you go back and look at Ackenhausen, well, we really derailed here, didn't we? But if you go look at that, and respect to Ackenhausen is amazing. But if you go back and look at the championship season, right? When he went 6 innings against Tennessee, 6 shutout innings against Tennessee in the College World Series, a great Tennessee baseball team. Prior to that 6-inning outing, Nate Ackenhausen's long outing of the year was 3 2/3 against South Carolina, where he walked 3 and struck out 6. Oh, that was the SEC tournament. That's when he started the SEC tournament. He struck out like the first 6 guys. And then the wheels came off. And other than that, he went 3 1/3 against Western Michigan, 3 1/3 against Texas in February. And after that, he only had 1 outing the rest of the season where he went 2 innings. It was against Samford. And so here you are in the College World Series, and he gives you 6 shutout innings against Tennessee. Like, if you could have gotten odds for that, I mean, yeah. So, anyway, but yes. Hester loves talking about beating Miami on the field and in the tunnel. I was at that game. I was covering that game for Tiger Rag, incidentally. I graduated from LSU. I was working in news radio at the time, and Matt DeVille hired me as a stringer to cover that game. I covered 2 games that season for Tiger Rag. I covered the game in Ole Miss when LSU just destroyed Ole Miss in Oxford. Then I covered that Peach Bowl, the 40-3 game against Miami. Mike, thanks for the hard work. Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for being there. Drew's a model for Sweet Spot. That's awesome. Bob Poole said, what about Buffalo Trace? I would highly recommend it. You just can't find Buffalo Trace everywhere. So I was trying to pick things that you can walk into any store and find. But yes, if Buffalo Trace is slightly allocated, so it's just not, you're not going to walk into every store and find it. But if you see Buffalo Trace, absolutely, that would go on the bar. Where else can you get this quality sports and life content? Have a great day. Is LSU going back to the CWS this year? Oh, LSU is going back to the CWS. They've got the arms to do it for sure. And I am really, 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 really excited to see Chase Shores, y'all. To see a healthy Chase Shores at the front of the rotation. I mean, he has every bit of ability to be a high first round guy. We've forgotten about it because he's been out of sight, out of mind for a year and a half. So I am really excited to see Chase Shores. Nate was incredible in that series. It was amazing. Robert, Happy New Year. Took a break for 2 weeks on content on vacay. Let the brain reset. Good for you. Thanks for the consistent content. You know where to find us, man. Hopeful for a great 2025. Hope Clyde's, me too, man. Be awesome. Blind Squirrel Sports, have an awesome Sunday. Joe Burrow, living legend. What's new? Great show as always. Thank you. Devin, regular liquor connoisseur. I know my whiskey, man. That's for sure. I mean, I've tried and sampled and collected enough of it to know. All right, last one. Ryan, 05 team. Can you imagine if Saban had never left? Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of maybe the greatest what if in LSU history is what if Saban never left? Does he have a 2-decade run at LSU like he had at Alabama? I mean, he certainly laid the foundation in place. But we all knew, man, Saban had longing eyes for the NFL. He was always going to find his way back there. He did. And Alabama ended up being the beneficiary because they had a job open when Saban was ready to leave Miami. So that part of it stinks, but it doesn't eliminate or minimize what he did at LSU, which was win the first championship in 45 years and lay the foundation for the greatest run we've ever seen in LSU football history. So for that, I'll always love Nick Saban. Like, never get that twisted. I am not even when he was coaching at Bama, I didn't hate Nick Saban. I hated that he beat LSU all those years, but I didn't hate him. I love Nick Saban. They should build him a statue, name a building after him, all that stuff. I mean, we've become what LSU has become because of Nick. I mean, we've come to expect championships, and that's an expectation that was not even remotely realistic before Nick showed up. So I love him. Anyway. Okay. All right. We're done. Who dat? Y'all have an awesome Sunday. Let's see if the Saints get a win today. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Again, all of our sponsors linked in the description on YouTube, tagged on Facebook. Shout out to them all. We appreciate it greatly. Y'all have a great Sunday. If you haven't done it yet, Locked on LSU's already live. Got an update on Major Burns, opting out of the bowl game, how LSU replaced him. Quick thumbnail preview of LSU basketball today. It's all there for you. Locked on LSU podcast or YouTube. Y'all have an awesome